I'm Tim, and welcome to Field and Shop. I had a completely different intro video planned, and a completely different sort of first and second video planned, and something really interesting has just come up, and I figured I would take you along for the ride and sort of shuffle things around and make this the first video. After a good couple of months of searching, I finally found a good deal on what might be my next tractor. I'm about to head out. I'm just waiting for the car to warm up. It's about minus 15, minus 20 this morning. And I'm going to finalize the deal today if everything looks good. Very, very quick backstory. About 3 years ago, I bought my first tractor, which was a John Deere 2032R. It had an aftermarket heated cab. And, you know, for 2 years, it was incredible. It was a massive time saver. It was great around the property. It was absolutely amazing. But last fall, as I was doing routine maintenance, I found some issues that I wasn't really expecting to find, especially for a tractor that was fairly new. I mean, it was probably 5 or 6 years old. The main issue is that the entire underside and rear transmission was completely corroded. All of the hard hydraulic lines, the final drives, the transmission, everything had corrosion, everything had rust all over it. The tractor had obviously been very, very quickly painted over before I bought it, so I didn't actually notice any of these things when I bought it, and it took a couple of years for that paint to actually flake off the rust. And I mean, it worked, but I could tell that it was very, very close to needing some pretty massive repairs, and I had a decision to make. Do I sell the tractor and buy something completely different in better shape, or do I dump a ton of money into the 2032R to get it back into good condition? I decided pretty quickly, actually, to sell the tractor. I disclosed all of the problems with it. I had 10 or 15 people come and take a look at it, and after a couple weeks, it sold. And again, it's taken me a couple of months now to find a replacement. So what I found is a John Deere 3520. Now the 3520 is like a generation behind the 2R and the 3R, sort of the newer series. But this tractor is in fantastic shape for its age. It has like no issues with rust and corrosion. It comes with a 375 backhoe, which is going to be absolutely incredible for actually digging. I actually never thought I would own something with a backhoe on it, so this is actually pretty exciting. And it has a factory cab with heat and air conditioning. So yeah, let's go take a look. So that's good. That's good. Okay, so I'm just back in the car after looking over the tractor, and honestly, everything looks great. As far as I can see, there's nothing major. I mean, it is about 10 years old, so there are going to be things that are, a little bit dinged up or scratched, but there is nothing major. Undercarriage, underside looks good. The transmission, final drives, everything looks good. Tires are in good shape. There's no major corrosion or rust anywhere underneath or on top. All the glass is intact. The roof is intact. Now, it is missing a left side door, so I'm going to have to source a door. But the engine starts right up. No hydraulic leaks. Like, everything looks really, really good. So I put down a deposit. Delivery is going to be in a couple of days. And I guess we'll pick back up once delivery happens. All right, well, the tractor has just been delivered. We couldn't drop it off at the cottage just because of the conditions. So we dropped it off down the road and I'll have to drive it in. But yeah, no, everything looks great. No leaks in the hydraulics as far as I can see. I've just got the heating on in the cab. All right, well, it's been interesting. The tractor is over here. I managed to get it to the road right beside the driveway entrance. The fuel tank, and it's a diesel, was empty basically. So I had enough fuel, I had enough fuel to get here. And I didn't want to have it run out as I was trying to make it down the driveway. So I'm pretty sure I have a fuel tank. I'm going to go down the neighbor's driveway actually because ours is much deeper. And yeah, we basically have to go on a mission now to find the fuel tank so that we can refuel the tractor. Let me just put my gloves on. All right, so here we go. I'll have to send them a message to tell them that I came down the driveway so they don't worry. But they actually have their driveway plowed, so there's only about half as much snow as there is on ours. So yeah, nice up here though. Whew. I really don't remember where I put that fuel tank. So I will, I'll bring you along for the journey. There we go. Whew. Thank God. So that one's empty, but this one is not. Okay. Now the fun job of carrying a half full diesel container through the knee-deep snow back to the tractor. All right, I'll check back in a bit. All right, well, we made it back. Got the diesel. Now I forgot my tripod at home. What I can do is I can use this selfie stick here and just position it like that. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. Well, there was definitely fuel in there. So maybe the sensor on the tank is bad. But yeah, I mean, there's definitely fuel in there. My last tractor had a sight glass for the hydraulic level. I don't see anything on this. Okay, so anyway, fuel's done. Okay, let's take these off because they're covered in fuel. All right, well, That's yeah, like something's not right here. Just getting ready to bring it in for service. It's minus 25 this morning and I'm having trouble starting it. Jump pack has died. I may have jumper cables in my car, so I'm gonna have a quick look at that. But yeah, you're gonna be seeing lots more of this in the future. All right, well, it's been charging for a couple minutes in the car. Let's see how this goes. No luck. All right, so what do we do next? I mean, the only thing that I can really think of is drive into town and grab some jumper cables. All right, well, I finally got it started. It was a complete pain in the ass. It took way too long. But it's freezing. It's absolutely freezing today. Minus 25 still. So yeah, let's go get it out of the snow. gloves on here. Yeah, so a bit of a walk back to the cottage, get my car, get back to the city. Everything took a little bit longer than I had planned this morning. I had to actually drive into town and get some jumper cables so I could jump the tractor. And I actually noticed that, so I started jumping and then the starter wouldn't engage. The starter wouldn't even turn. And the one of the little wires had come loose. So it took me a while to find that problem. And of course, in minus 25 degree weather, your hands are out of the gloves for 2 minutes and they're cold. So everything just takes longer. But yeah, once I got it started, really no issues. And a couple of interesting things actually. So in forward, the tractor has much less power than in reverse. Reverse still isn't amazing. For example, I was going half a mile an hour up this little incline here, and I could do, I don't know, 3 or 4 miles an hour in reverse down there. So again, there's something with either the hydraulic pump or I don't even know. Even though it's a relatively old tractor, there's a lot of electronics on it. The pedals are electronic, so they have potentiometers, and there are lots of issues with those. So who knows? It did seem to be a little bit better when I first started it, so when the hydraulic oil was cold. So, it could be, seals inside. It could be something with the pump, so when the hydraulic oil heats up, it becomes thinner, and it's able to float around the seals easier, so you lose power. It could be anything. The trouble is, I don't have the tools to properly diagnose it. And even if I did have the tools right now, I don't have a workshop where I can, work on it in relative comfort. So, what my big project for this year is going to be building a 10 by 16 foot shed that has a carport. The shed itself is going to be 10 feet wide, 16 feet long, and the carport attached to it that will come off of one side will be 16 feet wide and probably about 20-ish feet long. So that'll give me a nice covered place out of the weather to work on stuff. That's going to be the big project for this year, as well as getting the hunting property organized a little bit better. So a couple of food plots I'll show in the spring, but I had a logging company come in last year and clear out a whole bunch of the trees, but they've left the treetops scattered all over the property. So the treetops basically all need to be cleared up, and where the treetops are, a couple of the stumps need to be removed, and I'll hopefully be able to plant a couple of nice big food plots. Well, I'm just getting back now. I guess I'll report back once we find out what sort of repair work the tractor needs. Okay, so the tractor is finally back from the dealership. Everything is fixed. There was nothing major. The main issue was the speed. It would only travel very, very slowly in forward and reverse. I was sort of fearing that it was a transmission issue. As it turns out, there's a compartment underneath the pedals where the pedals actually hinge, and it had filled with water and frozen solid. So the pedals would only press down like 10% of the way. And so that's why it would only move very slowly. So that was an easy fix. The steering cylinder was leaking, so I had that replaced. The other issue actually was the fuel tank. So I thought it was empty, or it was telling me that there was no fuel in it when it was delivered. I looked inside, it looked like there was fuel. I added some more diesel, and everything looked very slushy inside. And I assumed that because it was minus 25, that the diesel had gelled. Dealership told me there was like 4 inches of water inside of the fuel tank. So everything was drained out, all the filters were replaced. So again, nothing major, but sort of an easy fix. And I just wanted to have everything done at once while it was there. Oh, actually, there's one more thing that needs to be fixed. Let's get a new door on it. So this is going to be a little bit tricky. I have to get the hinge lined up here. Okay. Okay. So there's a piston here, or a little cylinder that they use to keep the door from swinging open. So that was hanging up, so I've got to get that attached. Okay. We're lined up there. Okay. Okay. So basically all I need to do is grab that. All right, so the door is installed. I plan on doing a full service, filters, hydraulic oil, all that sort of stuff in the spring. I have a new cabin air filter here that we can install now. I don't think it's too difficult. So a couple of wing nuts here hold the cover on. Okay. So here's the old filter, and it is absolutely filthy. So yeah, just a comparison, old versus new. Who knows when that was changed last. So that should help with airflow a little bit, at least. Yeah, that's correct. Good. Good. Done. And actually, all of that should get blown out. I have an air compressor up here, so in the spring I'll do that. Okay, there we go. I also have some windshield washer fluid to put in. Problem is, I have no idea where it goes. This is where tire chains would really come into play here. And I thought I would just like very quickly run through a couple of things. So I originally had a John Deere 2032R. So a little bit smaller than this, less horsepower. And it turned out that it had some fairly major issues. So I sold it, and I used that money to buy this actually slightly older tractor. Now this is a John Deere 3520. It has a 375 backhoe on the front, on the back, and a 300 CX loader on the front. It's probably about 3 to 5 years older than that 2032R, but it's larger, it's more powerful, and it's actually been fairly well taken care of. Like, it's in really good shape. So it was just a much better purchase. And it was still a whole lot less expensive than purchasing something newer or new. And since I'm on a little bit of a budget here, this just made the most sense. The other major bonus with this tractor is the backhoe. I actually looked into buying a mini excavator. I really never thought I would be able to afford something that had a backhoe on it, and this was honestly just an absolutely fantastic deal. And although I did have to spend a little bit of money getting the tractor serviced, it was well worth it. And it's basically a fully functioning tractor now. So yeah, I've got it in 4-wheel drive. Let's get the RPMs up a little bit. My friend James has a Kubota, and I looked into getting one, but again, it was just a cost thing. I just couldn't find anything that was in decent shape for a decent price. Everything was old, everything was completely beat up, needed way too much work, way too much rust, and so this was the tractor that sort of made the most sense. So this is actually a road here, so I have to be slightly careful. It's pretty quiet this time of year though. So I'm just going to basically nibble away at it here and dump the snow off to the side. So actually the big bucket, the big skid steer bucket, is pretty awesome for snow. It's not really going to be amazing with dirt because I think it just weighs too much. But I mean, snow is not, light either. And I can take big scoops which is really great actually. It's really just this berm where the plows push up all the snow in front of the driveway. That's sort of the big problem. So yeah, I'll mess around a little bit more with this. I don't expect I'll be able to clear the entire driveway. Actually, I know I won't be able to clear the entire driveway, but as long as I can get rid of this berm, and then it'll just be a little bit easier to sort of get past in the spring, because this is always sort of a big issue.